Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about something we've all felt at some point. The cold, hollow silence of being unappreciated. You know that feeling, don't you? The moment you realize someone you care about doesn't see your worth. It stings, it confuses, and worst of all, it makes you question yourself. But today we're going to stop questioning ourselves and start seeing things clearly. When a man doesn't value you, it's not just in the words he doesn't say, it's in the actions he refuses to take. It's in the way he keeps you waiting as if your time isn't as valuable as his. He makes plans like he's doing you a favor, shows up when it's convenient, and disappears when it's not. You find yourself always adjusting, always compromising, always explaining away the red flags with excuses you shouldn't have to make. You don't need to listen to his words. Just watch what he does. Words are easy, they roll off the tongue like poetry, but actions tell the truth. A man who doesn't value you will never need to say it out loud because his behavior will show you over and over again. You'll see it in the way he forgets the little things that matter to you, how he doesn't remember the details you carefully share, how he nods absently when you speak as if your voice is background noise in his world. You'll feel it in the way he makes promises but never follows through, in the way his presence feels temporary, fleeting, as though he's always halfway out the door. Love is not about grand gestures on special occasions. It's about the daily effort, the small things that show up in quiet moments. The way someone looks at you when you're not looking, the way they prioritize you even when life gets busy, the way they stand beside you not just when it's easy, but when it's hard. If a man values you, he won't make you wonder. He won't make you chase him, explain yourself, or shrink your needs to fit his comfort. He will make space for you in his life, gladly, willingly, with no hesitation. But when a man doesn't value you, everything feels like a struggle. You ask for the bare minimum, and even that feels like too much. You excuse his behavior, hoping that one day he'll realize your worth. But darling, a man who truly sees your value doesn't need to be convinced. Life is not meant to be lived in the shadows of doubt and fear. Too often, people spend their days trying to be what the world expects, hiding parts of themselves to fit into a mold that was never meant for them. But the most powerful thing you can do in this life is to own your story. Every success, every setback, every scar, and every lesson, because who you are in your rawest, most unapologetic form is enough. If you want to live a life that is truly your own, you must stop apologizing for who you are. Stop waiting for permission to take up space. Stop thinking that you have to be flawless to be worthy of success. Your story, exactly as it is enough. The setbacks, the struggles, the lessons, the victories, they all belong to you and they all make you who you are. And when you finally embrace every part of your journey without hesitation, without fear, you become unstoppable. There will always be voices telling you to stay in your place, to lower your expectations, to dream within limits that make others comfortable. The world has a way of making people believe that greatness is reserved for a select few, that success belongs only to those born into privilege, that ambition must be tamed. But the truth is, the ones who rise are not the ones who wait for permission. They are the ones who dare to take their place unapologetically, fearlessly, and without hesitation. She was never afraid to dream beyond what was expected of her. She refused to be boxed in by stereotypes, by opinions, by limitations that others tried to impose. She stepped into spaces where people said she didn't belong, and instead of asking for approval, she proved that she had every right to be there. She was not just chasing success, she was rewriting the definition of it. Because those who truly make an impact are the ones who dare to be different, to be bold, to be more than what the world tells them they can be. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is not just talent, intelligence, or luck. It is the courage to take risks, to step forward even when the path is unclear, to bet on yourself when no one else will. Most people let fear hold them back, fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of standing out. But the ones who create history are the ones who feel the fear and rise anyway. You were not meant to shrink yourself to fit into the expectations of others. You were not meant to dim your light so that others feel comfortable. You were meant to rise, to take up space, to own your ambition without apology. No dream is too big, no goal is too far, no challenge is too great. The world will always have opinions, but only you get to decide who you are. So stand tall, speak loud, dream big, and when the world tries to make you small, dare to rise even higher. Life does not come with guarantees. It does not promise an easy road, a perfect plan, or a clear path to success. It challenges, it tests, and it demands more from those who dare to dream beyond the ordinary. But within every challenge lies an opportunity to rise, to fight, to prove that limits are meant to be broken. The journey of success is not about waiting for the right moment, it is about creating it. It is about standing tall in your truth, embracing every flaw, every setback, and every victory, knowing that your story is uniquely yours to write. She has shown the world that success is not about where you come from, but about how far you are willing to go. It is not about luck or privilege, it is about resilience, about having the audacity to believe in yourself when no one else does, about turning rejection into redirection and setbacks into stepping stones. She did not wait for doors to open, she built her own path. She did not allow the world to define her, she redefined the world. Her journey is proof that ambition has no boundaries, that talent knows no nationality, and that true power lies in those who refuse to be confined by expectations. The lesson in her story is clear. You have the power to shape your own destiny. No dream is too big, no challenge too impossible, and no voice too small. The world will always have its doubts, its critics, its rules, but the ones who rise are the ones who refuse to be limited by them. The only permission you need is your own. The only validation that matters is the belief you have in yourself. You are not meant to live a life of hesitation, of waiting for the perfect moment, of playing it safe. You are meant to take risks, to dream boldly, to stand in your power without apology. So go out there and own your story, take up space, dare to rise, build the life you dream of, not the one the world expects of you. And when you finally reach the heights you once thought were impossible, don't just stand there alone. Turn around, lift others, and remind the world that success is not just about reaching the top. It's about breaking barriers so that others can rise too, because in the end, true greatness is not about what you achieve. It is about the legacy you leave behind. Life does not come with guarantees. It does not promise an easy road, a perfect plan, or a clear path to success. It challenges, it tests, and it demands more from those who dare to dream beyond the ordinary. But within every challenge lies an opportunity to rise, to fight, to prove that limits are meant to be broken. The journey of success is not about waiting for the right moment. It is about creating it. It is about standing tall in your truth, embracing every flaw, every setback, and every victory, knowing that your story is uniquely yours to write. She has shown the world that success is not about where you come from, but about how far you are willing to go. It is not about luck or privilege. It is about resilience, about having the audacity to believe in yourself when no one else does, about turning rejection into redirection and setbacks into stepping stones. She did not wait for doors to open. She redefined the world. Her journey is proof that ambition has no boundaries, that talent knows no nationality, and that true power lies in those who refuse to be confined by expectations. The lesson in her story is clear. You have the power to shape your own destiny. No dream is too big, no challenge too impossible, and no voice too small. The world will always have its doubts, its critics, its rules, but the ones who rise are the ones who refuse to be limited by them. The only permission you need is your own. The only validation that matters is the belief you have in yourself. You are not meant to live a life of hesitation, of waiting for the perfect moment, of playing it safe. You are meant to take risks, to dream boldly, to stand in your power without apology. So go out there and own your story, take up space, dare to rise. Build the life you dream of, not the one the world expects of you. And when you finally reach the heights you once thought were impossible, don't just stand there alone. Turn around, lift others, and remind the world that success is not just about reaching the top. It's about breaking barriers so that others can rise too, because in the end, true greatness is not about what you achieve. It is about the legacy you leave behind. And you keep bending, adjusting, making space for someone who refuses to meet you halfway. You tell yourself he's just busy, that he'll change, that if you're patient enough, kind enough, loving enough, one day he will realize what he has. But deep down, you know the truth. A man who values you doesn't keep you waiting. He doesn't treat your time like it's disposable. He doesn't show up only when it's easy for him. Love is not about convenience, it's about commitment, it's about effort, it's about showing up even when life gets chaotic. A man who truly respects you will never make you question whether you matter. He will consider your feelings before making choices that affect you. He will listen not just to respond but to understand. He will honor the boundaries you set, not because he has to, but because he wants to. But when respect is missing, everything else falls apart. You find yourself explaining why something hurt you only to be met with indifference. You set a boundary only for it to be crossed again and again. You start to feel like you're asking for too much when in reality, you're asking for the bare minimum. And the harsh truth is, when a man truly values you, the bare minimum won't feel like a privilege. It will feel natural. So stop waiting for someone to respect what they don't appreciate. Stop shrinking your needs to fit into his comfort. Your time is valuable, your boundaries are sacred, and the right man won't need reminders to honor them. He'll do it effortlessly because to him you will never be an afterthought. You will always be worth it. Love should feel like warmth, like home, like safety. It should feel like being heard, understood, and cherished. But when a man doesn't value you, you'll feel something else. You'll feel invisible. Your voice will become an echo in a room where no one is listening. Your emotions will be dismissed like passing clouds in his sky. You will sit across from him, spilling your heart, and watch as he nods absently, his mind somewhere else. And that right there is where you lose yourself. Because love isn't just about presence, it's about engagement. It's about someone looking at you and truly seeing you. It's about someone caring about what makes you laugh, what keeps you up at night, what dreams set your soul on fire. But when he doesn't value you, those things don't matter to him. Your victories feel like background noise. Your struggles don't stir concern. You could be breaking right in front of him. and all you'd get is a half-hearted distract. You'll be fine. And still you stay. You tell yourself that maybe he's just not good at expressing emotions, that maybe he does care, but he doesn't know how to show it, that maybe if you try a little harder, love a little more, he'll wake up and realize what he has. But let me tell you something. Real love doesn't need decoding. A man who values you won't let you feel alone in his presence. He won't make you beg for attention, for understanding, for basic human decency. You deserve someone who leans in when you speak, not someone who tunes you out. You deserve someone who celebrates your wins, not someone who barely notices. You deserve someone who listens not because they have to, but because they want to. And when you find yourself in a space where your emotions are met with indifference, where your words don't land, where your heart is speaking but no one is truly hearing, you already have your answer. Love should never feel like loneliness, and the moment it does, it's time to walk away. You can feel the distance, even when he's right next to you. The silence between messages stretches longer. The conversations become shallow, like he's there but not really present. You try to convince yourself that he's just busy, that life is pulling him in different directions, but deep down you know, if you truly mattered, you wouldn't have to fight for his attention. A man who values you won't make you question where you stand. He won't leave you wondering why he takes hours, sometimes days, to reply while you see him active everywhere else. He won't make excuses for his inconsistency, appearing only when it suits him and vanishing when it doesn't. He won't leave you clinging to breadcrumbs of effort, hoping they'll lead to something more. You deserve more than a half-hearted conversation, more than a relationship where you feel like you're talking to a stranger. Love isn't about convenience, it's about presence, about effort, about making someone feel important, even in the smallest ways. And when a man values you, you'll never have to chase him down for attention, for effort, for something as basic as consistency. But when a man doesn't value you, his energy shifts. You start feeling like you're the only one keeping the connection alive. You're always the one reaching out, always the one making plans, always the one trying to bridge the growing gap. And one day you will wake up and realize something powerful. It was never supposed to be this hard. Love should be consistent, love should be intentional, love should be clear. And if you find yourself in a place where you are constantly guessing, constantly waiting, constantly feeling like you're the only one who cares, it's time to stop trying, because the right person won't leave you in doubt. They won't be sometimes there. They will be all in, without hesitation, without conditions, without making you question if you are enough. Because you are, and you always have been. In the end, remember this. You are the creator of your own story, the author of your own happiness. No one should hold the pen to your worth but you. When a man doesn't value you, it's not a reflection of your value. It's a reflection of his inability to see it. It's a reflection of his own limitations, his own inability to love and appreciate someone as magnificent as you. And while it might hurt, while it might feel like you're losing something precious, the truth is you are gaining your own freedom. Every time you choose yourself, every time you walk away from someone who doesn't see you for who you truly are, you make space for something more beautiful, more real, more aligned with your soul. You make space for a love that will match your energy, that will appreciate your worth, and that will never make you doubt who you are. You make space for a relationship where you will be seen, heard, valued, and respected, not because you're asking for it, but because you inherently deserve it. You don't need to wait for someone else's recognition to validate your worth. You are already enough. And sometimes the hardest thing is to walk away from the very person who makes you feel unworthy. But in that walk, you are stepping into your own power, reclaiming your own story, and embracing the kind of love that honors you. And trust me, when you step into your worth, you'll never settle for less again. So don't be afraid to leave behind what doesn't serve you, to walk away from someone who can't give you the love and respect you give so freely. Let go of the fear that you won't find better or that you're somehow incomplete. You are whole. You are deserving of a love that reflects your brilliance, a love that lifts you, that supports you, that honors every part of who you are. And when you choose to value yourself first, you create space for the kind of love that will never make you question your worth. It's not about holding on, it's about knowing when to let go and trusting that when you do, everything you've ever wanted will begin to fall into place. Because when you value yourself, the world will begin to reflect that back to you. And you'll realize that the best kind of love is the one that starts with you.